Right now I'm going to hit the Creative Photo Mode button. This gives me this screen, which allows me to go to HDR. I'm going to use the dial outside the Set button on the back of the camera to get to HDR, which allow you to shoot images with a wide tonal range and add effects to resemble paintings. Really, what this allows you to do is it takes 3 pictures of various exposure ratings and merges them together for the darkest blacks and the brightest brights and the richest colors all together, using the best of all 3. Once you hold down the shutter button and the 3 pictures are taken in quick succession, your camera will spend about 5 or 6 seconds, maybe a little longer, merging them together and creating a 4th picture. So when you go back and look at your images, you'll see 3 in a row: an underexposed, a regular exposed, an overexposed, and the 4th one is the HDR picture. Let's see how to do that in the menus. I'm going to hit the Set button again, and you're going to have these choices. You hit the Set one more time, and you're going to enable HDR, either with automatic, which I'm going to use, or you could choose a variety of exposure values, plus or minus 1 stop, 2 stop, or 3 stops, which will give you a little bit more depth, a little bit more creativity. It also may oversaturate your pictures and give a little bit more cartoon look, so we're going to put it on auto. The effect, we're going to put it sometimes on art standard. I like this. Sometimes I fool around with vivid. But this will give you the most dramatic one. Here's one of my son Daniel, and you can see how rich and the colors are. Now remember, it's taking 3 in a row, bop, bop, bop. So you got to be really careful to hold the camera really still and have your subject hold still. A lot of people like to use this on landscapes and building shots. I like to use it on people. Here's a couple more examples, and you can see we have the underexposed, overexposed, and regular shots. And we blend them all together, and you get a more of a dynamic range picture using HDR. Just make sure to hold your camera steady or use a tripod, and if you're having a subject, make sure they stay really steady. The best way to figure out which particular effects you like is to experiment, and the more experimentation you do, the better you could find what works for your personal preference. Continuous HDR, 1 shot only, so you set it for HDR and that's it. But if you're experimenting, put it on every shot. You're just going to have to take it back to 1 shot only if you want to get back easily to taking regular pictures. Auto align, you definitely want that enabled. What happens, especially with people, is they shift a little bit. Well, the camera, after it processes all 3 images, looks for certain cues, certain edges, and realigns them together to make sure it's not a doubly exposed picture. And then save all sources to either all images, was what I did, or a separate HDR image only file.